Well, hey everybody, I'm Jack. This is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Doing another one from my kitchen. Been doing more videos from my kitchen as I get a lot of stuff, get rid of a lot of stuff in here, and now I actually have it halfway clean again. I got with, not feeling good for a few months. I had gotten a little bit behind on my cleaning around here and go for a little while and it can get a little sloppy, but getting there, tighten it back up. Today I want to talk about how to start a raw food diet. What first? Guys, I do videos every day, so if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate if you take the time to go down and hit that red subscribe button now. Then be sure you click on the little bell and immediately check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel and know when I have new videos, which is every day like I just said. How to start a raw food diet 101. I'm going to do a few prompts over on Instagram, and hopefully some of my Instagram folks end up over here that are new to this and are always asking me. Let's jump right into it. Okay, because you could start a raw food diet. You could already be someone that's a vegan, plant-based, that's looking to start a raw food diet. I hear a little bit of it all. I've heard a number of people, I have people that tell me that. Oh, they're vegan and now they're going raw, or I've inspired them to go raw, and can I give them some tips? And then there's people that are not vegan at all and want to do it. And I think that one is a little more, takes a little bit more thought, a little bit more explanation, and actually a little bit more smart planning to it. First of all, for anybody, you need an individualized plan. Now, when I say a plan, I'm not talking nuts. You don't have to write everything down, but you're an individual. I'm an individual. We process things differently. We relate to things differently. And we probably all have a different process of doing everything. I mean, if I told you to do task A, and I had 25 people, I said how to do it, they're probably all going to have different methods. So I'll just kind of, as a general suggestion, you've got to figure out a plan that's going to work for you. You've got to, if you don't like a plan, because that sounds like, I don't mean you're planning everything out like, okay, day one, going to eat this, day two, going to eat that, but just, kind of a sketch, a rough idea of how you're going to proceed forward. If you're not vegan, obviously, listen, if you're not vegan, and, they'll be the gung-ho person, and maybe they want to have that story how they just got hit by a lightning bolt and went raw and went vegan overnight. Now, I did go high raw from the very beginning. There was no going vegan first and then becoming raw. But I was never from day one, like, all caught up into that whole, like, oh my God, how raw can I get? I just went real high raw. Now, I will say this. It was easy for me to 86 the animal products because I was kind of on a journey already, and through my health journey leading up to the point where I became vegan, where I started a raw food diet, I had been for about 6 months before that focused on health. That's when that was when the real journey started. I just hadn't gotten to this particular path on the journey yet. So in just natural, and that's my natural instinct, I've talked about that before, I should do a whole video on that. In that 6 months, and this told me a lot, and I have done this in the past, in that 6 months, I had given up, I wasn't eating, by the time I went vegan, I had already just instinctively cut the animal products a lot in an effort to get healthy. So by the time I went vegan, I was probably eating meat, and it was usually chicken or fish, maybe 3 times a week, 2 or 3 times a week. And I was in Costa Rica where the portions were smaller. So it wasn't like I went from chowing, I didn't go straight from chowing down on ribs and eating burgers and this and that. I wasn't drinking milk at the time. I was still under, the protein spell. So I would have eggs several times a week. And I would sometimes, I'd put cheese in it, make cheese omelets. But boom, as far as I was along then, and I had given up the booze, pretty much. There was a period I went through where I drank 1 glass of red wine a day, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, for me, it wasn't that big a deal. There were little things like I used to go downtown in San Jose, Costa Rica and get a slice of, get a slice of pizza. That was a good way to just like get some extra, I'd walk downtown and that would be my lunch. And a lot of times it was just easy just to grab a slice. it wasn't my food anymore, so it wasn't that big deal. And I still pass by some good smelling pizza and I'm like, ooh, that smells good. I just know it's not my food anymore. So anyhow, that was my story. But if you're not vegan, if you're already not plant-based or vegan, work on that first. Work on that. All you want to work on first is getting rid of the meat, the dairy. You know, the meat, the dairy, well, the eggs. Do eggs fall under either one of those? Or I don't think so. They're their own thing. But dairy, meat, and eggs, give them up. And I'd say, you know, I mean, I don't think it's really that big of a thing because I doubt anybody's going to have it that structured to where they're going to wait. They're going to do one and then wait that long. But I actually recommend getting rid of the dairy over meat if you had to make a choice. Okay, absolutely, which one to do first. So get rid of the animal products and get rid of the processed food, or cut the processed food as much as possible. And now when I say get rid of processed food, cut the processed food, don't get down to that literal level. There's always that clown that wants to be like, oh, everything, this is processed, blah, blah, everything is you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where, well, I don't have, I've pretty much cleaned the kitchen out of stuff that my mom used to have, but you know what I'm talking about, where you have that package that's got like 35 different ingredients in there. It's processed. It goes through a lot of steps. I'm not saying you're going to eat 100% like just an apple, this fruit, this vegetable, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, try to cut out that processed food because there's so much hidden in that process too. In those names that you can't pronounce, I doubt if you can't pronounce them, you know what they are. And there's usually so much sodium hidden in there, all these chemicals. So get rid of that. That's where to start. Get rid of, if you're not vegan, get rid of the animal products and work on getting rid of the processed food. And you know, I would say try to eat as much whole real food as possible, but until you get the animal products, it's kind of like quitting heroin or quitting smoking or quitting whatever. Just get rid of the animal products. If you are already vegan, if you are already plant-based, well then it's really, if you will listen, if you've gotten to where you can do plant-based, if you're 100% plant-based, if you've been doing plant-based for a while, with a little thought, with a little planning, it's really not that hard to go an extra step and be raw. And once again, be as raw as you want to be. Make your plan and make your, you know, act accordingly depending on how raw you want to be. You don't want to be fully raw? Okay, work on the steps to get to where you want to be, whether that's raw till dinner, whether that's just, you know, eating mostly raw. Maybe you eat 2 days a week of cooked, however you do it, I don't care. But just like, you know, have yourself a plan. Now, if you're already eating vegan, plant-based, I would say a good first step, and this is being realistic. I know there's going to be the one that needs to do it quicker and wants to raise your hand because your ego's like getting you there. It's that one that's got a... You remember the people in school that always raised their hand, tried to impress the teacher? That's what that is a lot of times. So you do what you want to, but I would just say, okay, if you're vegan already and you want to, what do you do first? Starting to go raw, I would say clean up your vegan. No matter raw, cooked, whatever, start cleaning up your diet. Even if it's cooked, you know, eliminate some of the processed you're adding in there. Make sure the cooked you're eating is whole plant-based foods, real foods, you know. Don't go high fat. If maybe you're already vegan, cut the oil. Cut the oil, getting rid of the oil, that'll be a big step right there. And hey, for all you oil lovers, I ain't coming to take nobody's oil away, so I don't have an angry response to that like I see sometimes. But yeah, clean up your vegan diet. Just start by cleaning up your vegan diet and proceed accordingly how you feel is going to get you there. That's what it's all about in the end. And that's why I say it's individualized. It's not about how pretty it looks. It's not about how organized it looks. It's not about what works for me, works for him, what works for her. It's about what's going to work for you. So start cleaning up that cooked diet. Start adding in. But as you're doing that, as you're cleaning up your cooked food, I don't know. I mean, I got to think that anybody that's plant-based vegan probably eats at least maybe one raw meal a day, just out of necessity, just out of convenience, whatever. So, but anyway, wherever you are, add in a raw meal. Maybe you don't eat any raw food. Maybe you're vegan, maybe you're plant-based. So start cleaning that cooked food up clean. Just start working on everything that you're putting into your body is clean. Clean fuel. If you're not eating any raw so far, okay, start eating a meal raw. You know, start eating a meal raw. Start having snacks that are raw. Get rid. I mean, they don't hurt in a bind, but stop going to these little bars. You know, these little things, these little snacks, these little processed, these little things, and it's kind of like, well, they're not that bad. Well, yeah, they're not that bad, but they're not a banana. They're not a mango. You know, have your snacks of fruit and just slowly, you know, add in. You know, if you're eating no raw food so far, no raw meals, eat one meal that's raw. Maybe one day a week you eat raw food. Maybe you'll need to do that in the summer. I'm sorry, everybody should be able to do one day of raw in the summertime when it's hot. If you can't do that, well then, you know, there's some serious food issues and you might have to actually go see a shrink or something and work through some issues. But just start where you are and start moving forward. But that's where I would recommend on both those, whether you're not vegan already or whether you are vegan. Like I say, I want this to be as, you know, I want my reach to be as far as possible and to include as many people as possible. You know, anything you do, you're in a better situation. Like if you take it one step forward today, even if you were like trying to walk downtown and you stumble one or two steps, may not be significant, but you're still closer than you were yesterday. Think about that one. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoy this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.